Something inside you wants to be expressed. Before I get into these cards, I just want to say, if this finds you, it is meant for you. Six of Cups and Page of Cups. When I pulled these together, I actually smiled because this is such a gentle but persistent message, like the universe is tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, remember that thing you used to love, the thing that made your eyes light up when you were younger. Yeah, that thing. It is time to pay attention to it again. The energy here is so soft but also so determined. It reminds me of spring water finding its way through rocks, not forcing, just flowing toward where it needs to go. There's this beautiful innocence in both these cards, but also this quiet knowing. Like part of you already knows what wants to come through. You are just scared to trust it. These cards together feel like permission to stop overthinking your creative path and start feeling your way forward instead. Let me talk about the Six of Cups first because this card stopped me in my tracks. In traditional tarot, this is about nostalgia, childhood memories, reconnecting with your past. But when it shows up in a creativity reading like this, it is asking you to remember who you were before the world told you who you should be. I am seeing someone who had this thing they loved doing as a kid, or maybe even as a teenager, and somewhere along the way they convinced themselves it was not practical or not good enough or not a real thing. Maybe you used to write stories and hide them under your mattress. Maybe you would spend hours drawing or making music or putting together little performances for your family. Maybe you were the kid who was always building something, always creating something, always lost in your own little world of imagination. The Six of Cups is saying that was not just a phase. That was you showing you who you really are. And here is what gets me about this card in your reading. It is not asking you to go backward. It is asking you to remember forward, to take that pure creative joy you had before you learned to judge yourself and bring it into who you are now. I keep seeing this image of someone finding an old journal or an old project and feeling this little spark of excitement, and then immediately shutting it down because they think they are too old or too late or not talented enough. But Six of Cups is like, what if you are exactly the right age and exactly the right amount of experience to do this thing justice now? What if all those years of living and learning were just preparing you to express this thing in a way that only you can? Now the Page of Cups comes in and I have to laugh a little because this card is basically your inner artist throwing a gentle tantrum. Pages are messengers and the Page of Cups brings news from your emotional and creative world. This page is standing there with a cup that has a little fish popping out of it. And that fish represents all the creative ideas that keep swimming up to the surface of your consciousness. You know those moments when you are doing something completely unrelated and suddenly you get this idea or this urge to create something. That is your Page of Cups. And this card showing up with the Six of Cups is telling me that these creative nudges are getting stronger. Like your inner artist has been pretty patient, but now it is time to listen. What surprised me about seeing these two together is how they are both water cards. Both about emotions and intuition, but they approach creativity from such different angles. The Six of Cups says look back to move forward, and the Page of Cups says trust what you feel right now. Together they are creating this bridge between your authentic creative self and your willingness to be a beginner again. Because that is what the Page energy is about, being willing to be new at something, being willing to suck at something you love until you do not suck at it anymore. I am getting this message that someone reading this has been consuming a lot of creative content. Maybe following artists or writers or makers online, maybe taking classes or workshops, but there is this gap between consuming and creating. The Page of Cups is your permission slip to close that gap, to stop preparing to create and just start creating. When these two cards show up together in a reading about purpose and creativity, they are telling a very specific story. They are saying your purpose is not some big complicated thing you need to figure out. It is actually something you already know but have been afraid to trust. The Six of Cups brings the knowing and the Page of Cups brings the courage to act on it. Together they create this energy of creative homecoming, like you are not discovering your purpose so much as you are remembering it and then having the guts to honor it. I keep getting this message that someone watching this has been looking for their purpose in all these external places, maybe trying to figure out what the world needs or what would be practical or what other people would approve of. But these cards are saying your purpose is not about the world. It is about you. It is about expressing whatever is trying to come through you, not because it will change everything or make you famous or even make you money, but because it is yours to express. And here is the thing that makes me emotional about this combination. It is saying that your creative expression is a form of healing, not just for you but for other people who need to see someone else being brave enough to create from their authentic self. When you honor what the Six of Cups is showing you and you act on what the Page of Cups is encouraging, you give other people permission to do the same. Okay, so here is what you actually do with this energy. First thing, and I am serious about this, go through your old stuff. Not everything, just pick one box or one folder or one corner of your room where you keep things from your past. Look for evidence of who you were when you were creating just for the joy of it. It might be old photos of things you made, it might be journals, it might be anything that reminds you of what you loved before you learned to judge it. Do not analyze it, just notice what makes you feel that little spark of recognition. Second, start something new that connects to something old. If you used to love writing, start a weird little blog about something that fascinates you. If you used to love making things with your hands, buy some supplies and make something terrible and wonderful. If you used to love performing, film yourself doing something silly and only show it to people you trust. The point is not to be good, the point is to remember what it feels like to create from that place of pure enjoyment. Third, and this one is important, stop consuming creative content for 1 week. I know that sounds harsh, but you need space for your own voice to come through. Stop following all the artists and creators and teachers for just 7 days and see what wants to emerge when you are not constantly comparing yourself to other people or getting distracted by their creative processes. I want you to ask yourself these questions, but do not answer them with your head. Answer them with your body. What used to make you lose track of time when you were younger? When you imagine yourself creating something, what does your body want to do with its hands? What would you make if you knew no one would ever see it or judge it? Sit with these questions and notice what you feel, not what you think. Your body knows things your mind has forgotten. You are not too late and you are not starting from scratch. You are coming home to something that was always yours. The Six of Cups has been keeping your creative truth safe all this time, and the Page of Cups is here to help you unwrap it and play with it again. You do not need to know where this will lead or how it will unfold. You just need to trust that whatever wants to be expressed through you is worth expressing, not because it is perfect or important, but because it is yours. Your creativity does not need to save the world. It just needs to be honest. And when you create from that place of honesty, when you let yourself be moved by what moves you, you become exactly who you were always meant to be. What is one creative thing you used to love that you convinced yourself was not practical? Tell me in the comments, because I have a feeling a lot of you are going to find each other in this space. This is a collective reading. If this resonated, subscribe for more collective readings. This reading was meant for someone watching right now. If that is you, I see you. Take what speaks to you and leave the rest. Quick reminder, I do not ask for money and I do not message followers privately.